Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. Today we are talking about a fanfiction called Reincarnated as Chloe's Lapdog. Details about this fanfiction will be in the description below. Obviously, by the title of it, she is reborn as Sabrina, and she has no idea about. She knows that she's reborn as Sabrina, and she knows that she's a Rex Ladybug. She knows the basics of that, but she doesn't remember who she was before. What was her name? Her family? Nothing. She's just she has the most basic information of this is clearly a kid show you're reborn into. And obviously being reborn as a Sabrina, she has no intention of staying oh yeah, Claude, do whatever you want. She's like, I don't even care. Don't come near me. She's she breaks off the friendship that they have because she's like, I don't want anything to do with that. And Chloe doesn't really take her seriously at first, so it becomes pretty obvious, which is a shock to everyone because Sabrina always again, lapdog basically always does everything. So this ends up leading to her being traumatized because obviously this is her friend and now no longer wants to be friends with her anymore. It's yeah, I'm shocked. But the whole thing's kind of resolved and they end up making up anyway, so Chloe kind of starts changing. Still her kind of weird bitchy self, but she does start changing, right? So no longer going after anyone or doing anything. And Marinette is kind of worried and suspicious, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna say it doesn't make sense. It does, because obviously to them this is an overnight thing of she just suddenly wants something to do with Chloe and this is all happening. Everything's kind of happened too fast, right? She suddenly just woke up one day and said, I don't even know you anymore. And of course Chloe threw a tantrum and got really upset about that. Got akumatized, fight, whatever, deakumatized, and how they made out. So it's what is happening, right? So obviously to them, from our perspective, none of this makes any sense. But Tiki tries to calm her down. It's no, this is it's good that she's changing, and that they're they're turning over a new leaf and becoming better. And then we kind of find out some weird things are kind of going on too, just in the background without anyone knowing. Tiki kind of might know something's a little up, but other than that, no one else really does. And Sabrina, our girl, tries to reach outside, okay, let's join a club. Denied every time, which makes sense because each time you're well, you think we're just gonna forget what you did with Chloe and everything. So ooh, yeah, not great. It makes sense. No one wants to be around you because you were pretty damn happy about it. So that makes sense. So she's frustrated with that. She's ugh, because and it's not, again, not she doesn't understand. It sucks. It's just all it is. So she's ugh, not what I'm supposed to do. During her little search, she does come across fencing practice with Adrian and everything. She doesn't say anything, right? Has no intention of being hey, doesn't care. But something does start to happen. And by something, I mean her head starts to immediately hurt, right? And she immediately, her nose starts bleeding. She passes out. And Adrian's been to Kagami, and, he's kind of down about being rejected by Ladybug again. And he sees out a corner of his eye, he sees some, Sabrina slumped over in blood. So he's oh my god, it's just her nose. But, still, he panics and rushes up to her. He's are you okay? It's she's barely even conscious at this point. So he immediately rushes to get her to the nurse's office. This is very briefly at Marinette's point of view. Her and her little creepy little schedule thing. She's I've mapped it up. I've mapped out everything. He's 7 minutes late and it's because this would have been the perfect time, her mind to coincidentally run into him so they could walk together to the car. Okay, whatever. But she hears footsteps. She's like, "Oh my, fancy seeing you here, Adrian." Doesn't matter, right? Because she sees him carry Sabrina, right? Him holding her. Her immediate thought was jealousy because, of course, and that like, I mean, once she looked at Sabrina's face, she saw like, okay, so she's not faking it. It's like, what the, yeah, but so he ends up being worried. He tells Marina, it's like, okay, could you tell Gorilla I'll be late? So he runs off, and Marina, again, even though she knows Serena is not really faking it and that is truly like, yeah, homegirl's kind of a little messed up, she's still jealous. Just like, girl, this is not the time. Like, someone could be severely injured and all you care about is like, I wish he told me like that. You don't get your shit together. But, she's like, Tiki, what just happened? And Tiki's just like, it's like, go your little unhinged. I'm gonna need you to calm down. But Sabrina, meanwhile, kind of like passed out, sees these like figures. She's like, what the hell are you, like, black hole, like black stars? Like, and you're like, actually no, they're Kwamis, but just not in the form of obviously little cute little chibi things that they are used to. And this entire time just leads to more questions because they never answer anything. She's like, what the fuck are any of you talking about? She's like, don't worry about it. It's like the connection is fading and everything. It's like, this is a prison. Like, we're gonna be clearly kind of, the connection is fading. Like, this is a prison. Coupled with that, it's like, okay, so something's happening where they're gonna be released or something. I like how they basically just threw her into this though. They're like, not that it matters. And they're like, well, the connection thing doesn't matter. It's like, you're not gonna remember this anyway. Like, here, have this. Like, basically almost like throwing her into a mission that she has no idea what it's about, no idea what's going on. It's just like, good luck. What? What are we talking about? Since the whole incident, he's basically been like following her around real closely, right? Because he's like, he doesn't want it, like it really rattled him. He doesn't want anything to happen to her. And so, like, he constantly kind of pulls up her phone too, like texting her, until finally, like, okay, let's go out, right? And unexpectedly, oh my god, it's to like a really fancy restaurant. She's like, why did you take us to a restaurant and not just like some fucking diner or something? And so he's like, oh yeah, I didn't really make it. It was Natalie. It's like fantastic. So this is where she tells him straight, it's like, okay, this needs to stop. Like, because it's not happening, right? She doesn't mind being friends with her or anything like that. Like, just hang out regularly. But the whole like serial bodyguard thing has to stop. And obviously they didn't take into account that, Adrian's fangirls are questionable. So none of them knew who Sabrina was. Like, oh, she's kind of plain looking. It's like, who is she? So of course they took pictures of her and on forums and put it on forums, like, like, who is this girl? Like, who's Adrian's new girlfriend? Already speculated, fantastic. And then we go to Marinette's point of view, because of course she's on the floor. Of course, right? This girl is thinking about a whole wedding, basically, between, like, her mom and dad are gonna bake the cake. It's gonna be so dancing, blah blah. Cat Noir's even there too. She's like, I don't like this color, because like in her mind she's making the colors for the wedding and the suit. She's like, it reminds me too much of Cat Noir, and like for right now, like, he's getting on my nerves, and if only Adrian was my partner and everything, blah blah. It's like, boy. And so, obviously, because she's part of the form and everything, she finds this out. Tiki has to like calm her down. I feel like she's constantly on verge of a fucking breakdown. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I'm not gonna lie, even in Canada, I feel like she constantly is. And so Tiki's just like, let's just calm down. Girl, shit. I don't know how you weren't traumatized sooner, but so, like, it's all just misunderstanding. She's like, right, I try to talk to her, clear up the misunderstanding, clear the air. Which, I don't know why reading that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Because it's not like that's not a trope in, like, plenty of shows and plenty of anime. But I think it's just because maybe in, like, the context of usually when this happens, the whole misunderstanding trope, it's usually by this point, the female lead and the male lead have like an established relationship. Like they're not in a relationship, but they have like an established friendship. They've known each other for forever. They do like whatever, right? They depending on what genre it is. Sometimes even childhood friends, right? So they have like a very good foundation, and I think it rubbed so like it doesn't really, it's like I'll clear up the because and obviously everyone kind of know that she has like a crush, or sometimes he, it's the other way around too, but that they have a thing for the other person. So I think this rubs me the wrong way because I feel like even in canon, like just out of like not in fan fiction, even in canon, they say how much the class are close, like how much they're friends, but then like you can, it's like they're telling us instead of showing us, if that makes sense. They're telling us how great of friends they are and all of them are friends, and Adrian constantly reassures that, but it's like you don't even talk. Like I have never once seen you to end because Marinette can't talk to him at whatever. Like anytime we've ever seen Marinette try to talk to Adrian, she cannot hold any type of conversation with him. And hanging out, forget it. We've never seen them hang out except in a group setting. And even then, it's again still not like they talk or anything. So it's not like it's it's so I think that's why like it kind of rubs me the wrong way. Like even in fan fiction, fan fiction they at least get more context to it. Still meant to rub you the wrong way, but still, it's like there is no like real established relationship. Like yeah, you say you're friends, but like it's more like you share a friend group, and then you're like barely friends, if that. It's I think it's why it kind of rubs me like the wrong way. And it's like should I clear the air with her? It's like, girl, you're not even friends. But so she does end up going to Sabrina or to Sabrina, and obviously Hunger. She kind of already knows because she saw everything, and so she's like, "Oh, great!" And she wants nothing to do with Merrick. She's like, "Oh, I absolutely know." She's like, "Absolutely not. I know how unhinged she could be." So she immediately doesn't waste any time. She's like, "No, nothing going on between me and Adrian. He's all yours. Nothing to do with that." It's like to like reassure her, even though it doesn't really because this is Marinette. So, but she's just like clear the air because like I know how unhinged you are. The whole style queen happens, but with like a twist of it's like this split, right? So um Chloe well, it's like it's a twist, right? So Chloe is like akumatized. It's like, oh joy. So she's like turning to people to gold and shit. And um a lot of things still happen the same, except, obviously with Chloe being, the beam Marcus doesn't getting to Alia. Sabrina kind of refuses to leave, so Plaid keeps an eye on her. He's like, oh my god, I'm not the one who's supposed to be responsible here. What's happening? And so, but he doesn't admire that with Sabrina. Like, she did not give a fuck. She was like, I'm staying to the end. But with Chloe, she Ladybug, she finally got the upper hand on Chloe because um Cataclysm didn't work out too well. Ended up bringing the entire tower down, unfortunately. And obviously, Chloe or Adrian and Sabrina can't really. I mean, what are they supposed to do? So Chloe just looks at them, and obviously, like the only two people who like tolerated her, like her only two friends, are about to die. So of course, that's why Ladybug gets the upper hand because it's like she's more focused on them. She gets them out of the way, and then everything kind of goes back to normal, right? Hooray! Except, I mean, she ends up leaving, right? Because it would probably be a political disaster, but also like kind of good for Chloe to just like get out and get some fresh air. How about we just put this all behind us? And so that's where it is. Except now Lila comes in, and it is so clear from the beginning what Lila's intentions are, is because she hasn't been there for months. She doesn't know anything. And so she, like, oh, Sabrina is Chloe's lapdog. So in her mind, Chloe's gone now. Like, well, she could just become my lapdog now. And it's like, absolutely not. So Sabrina expertly avoids that when Lila tries to fake, like, oh, I can't do my sucks. It sucks. You can't do my work. I'm not doing it. But she's like, uh-huh. So Miley volunteers like, oh, I'll do it for you. She's like, thanks. Like, I'm not trying to fucking do your shit for you. Like, crazy. So she ends up just avoiding Lila because she immediately knows what she's trying to do. And she also just wants nothing to do with her either. It's fucking psycho that she is. And so this, as she, like, passes people in the hallway, this is where Lila ends up hearing from other people. It's like how Sabrina ended up standing up to Chloe originally, and so she hears about everything through there, like through them. And so she's like, oh, so she just need like she's like some sort of dog and she be trained. So she needs to be put in her place again. And so of course she gets akumatized, and of course she's a fucking crazy person, where it's like a whistle, right? That only affects Sabrina. And so because again, like a dog, it really is like a dog. And so it hurts her ears, right? And of course Sabrina doesn't want like because there's this kid next to her. She doesn't want this kid involved. She's like, fine, I'll go wherever like you leave, and civilians out of your little weird twisted game. And so I feel like this speaks volume about you. Like, don't get me wrong, okay? You're an akumatized person. It's not like, you're kind of one track minded. You're like, oh, I was akumatized because I was set over this or that. But it's like, I'm not gonna lie, I would start to be suspicious if you plan out this whole fucking grand thing of like what even would be the reason for this? She didn't listen to me, and so I treated her like a dog with my akumatized form and started chasing around like a crazy person with the intent of killing her. Like, what, what happened to like destruction property? What the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? So that's basically what ends up happening. And of course, Adrian, after his little stint, because before um, found her in the library, it's like, Jesus Christ. Sabrina had kind of yelled at him because it's like, oh, Lila eventually, where she gets through her head, it's like, that's just lying. She's just lying. You know that, right? She's no intention to make you friends. She doesn't care. She's literally just lying. She's like, my bad. Shouldn't have yelled at you. I'm gonna leave it at this. And so, but obviously, as kind of more ladybug transformed, they're like, okay, where the hell could the Akuma kid be? And that's where the kid, tells Cat Noir, like they split up. So that's where he tells Cat Noir. And this is where we see truly how twisted she is, because she really does make this a game. Like Lila really does make this a game of like we're gonna like almost like I will say tag, but I guess right if I find you like whatever. And so the Cat Noir gets to her, so they end up fighting, and so just as like I don't know, she's about to kill her because she's truly unhinged. Um, this is where even more shit starts happening. Okay, with the other weird Kwamis that she met. And this is where she also starts to kind of remember who she is, before she was Sabrina. Um, but this is where she also kind of unleashes some sort of power. Like, so she swings, like, she grabs, like, a pipe, and she swings really hard at Lila and ends up hitting her. But it also combined with whatever power she unleashed. So the Akuma immediately flies, like, out of Lila, and it injured, I mean, obviously, you get swung in the face. But it's also like she's kind of in this weird, like, because of the power of this magical coma, it's like, you know what? I'm not even feeling that bad. But so, but because of that little burst of power, Serena gets knocked out again, and Adrian, he don't even care. He's just like, Lila? Oh well. Serena, like, girl, you're not a victim at this point. I don't care. But now they're both at the hospital. And this is where Lila's mom gets involved, obviously. Hey, your kid was traumatized, is now, like, in a real coma. Sorry, I don't know. Like, what do you say to that? And so, but this is where she also finds out everything Lila's been doing and everything. It's like, yep, surprise. Your daughter, she's just been skipping school. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know why you believe that to begin with. No child wants to go to school. But the point is, so Adrian doesn't really care. He's real worried about, he had rushed off to get Sabrina to the hospital, right? Didn't even think about how, like, you don't have that much time to transform, before you transform back. But he does end up running into an alley fast enough. And then he just kind of sits by outside the room, really, of Sabrina's side. And, he runs into Rose because she frequently kind of visits the hospital for checkups and everything. This is where he tells her, like, everything that kind of happened went on. It's like, and so she kind of reassures him. It's like, she's strong. She'll be okay. During Serena's, like, little brief little coma, right? Because they're both in comas, Lila and Serena. But Lila, there's no signs of waking up, and Serena was only briefly. This is where we finally get her backstory. So this is where she's finally, like, remembering who she was, her family, her situation, everything, before being thrown into this world. And the aftermath of everything with Lila is, again, her mom was contacted, so uh now she just, congrats, you're a parent now. I don't know. Now you know that your daughter was, like, just lying. And apparently, like, now this comes, like, the things were going to be investigated, which is, like, I mean, okay, nothing to do with that. But uh Adrian, her and Adrian have a brief conversation. She wants to, like, apologize because, like, again, she did yell at him in the library. It's like, that's just lying. Because, like, I'd lose my patience too. I'm not gonna lie. I'd be like, this isn't nothing to do with being friends. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, I would lose my patience too. But Adrian's like, no, no, you're right. Because, he was, like, kind of projecting onto Lila because well, she can't be lying maliciously. Maybe she's doing it to make friends, like, because she's lonely. And that was really him just projecting. Because, I mean, he's never lied, but he was very lonely, and, like, he didn't really have anyone for any of this. I mean, Chloe, but, like, still. So, like, he was very much projecting, and that's why he kind of thought that with Lila. But afterwards, in her little conversation, she briefly kisses him on the cheek. Both of them don't really think, well, I shouldn't say both of them. She at least doesn't think anything of it. He gets flustered. Unimportant, though. Because it turns out Marinette, kind of like the freak that she is, was just watching the entire time. And so she ends up running to the girls and are like, well, maybe, like, they're reassuring her, misunderstanding, doesn't really mean anything, like, whatever. Because, like, girl, I'd be exhausted. I'm not gonna lie. Listen, I'm speaking from a fanfiction point of view and canon. Like, even in canon, I get it. Like, it's fanfic, whatever. I did the, even in canon point of view, I'm not gonna lie, I'd be exhausted being here. I'm just shut up. It's, I just, it's like the friend who constantly talks, like, you talk about anything else. I beg, anything else. I don't, shut up about this. But they're kind of quick to, like, kind of brush aside, like, no, you're just misunderstanding it. It's not what it seems. And then they get, like, the bright idea. We're like, what if we invite Sabrina into our ranks? Like, yeah, and then we'll tell her everything. And this, again, rubs me the wrong way because it's giving, you're inviting her to, like, sleep over and becoming friends with her under the pretense of, like, let's be friends, when really, girl, you just want to interrogate her and be like, what's your situation with Adrian? And then to basically make sure she's not, like, competition, I guess. It's like, it just, it feels icky. I like, you know what I mean? It just feels gross because that's really what your intentions are. But so they're like, yeah, and so, Juka and Rose are like, oh yeah, you want to hang out, like, and, she's like, no. It's just like, what the fuck? Why do you all want to be friends with? This is weird. All right, it's weird, but she's more hesitant than anything to accept any of this. Um, Better than me. I would have just flat out said, no, I don't want anything to do with you people. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Dealing with you already in class and just briefly sucks a lot out. Um, Goddamn, I do not want to become full. That's a job. That's a full-time job of being, like, full friends with you and listening to her rant about her marriage and shit. I'm not doing that. But we find out that one of the colonies technically is, like, speaking to Sabrina in her head. Obviously, no one can hear it. Because they don't have a physical body yet. And so as they're talking to her and, like, like, oh, she's like, okay, do you want me to sell you a doll? Like, what are we doing here? It's a ritual. Use specific materials. And she immediately knows where it's going. She's writing it because it means they have to get the grimoire. And it's like, when the fuck are they ever going to go to Adrian's house? And so She's like, okay, fantastic. Just gotta somehow get invited to his house. And luck's in her favor, right? Because we get from their point of view, Nino's teasing Adrian about his very obvious infatuation with Sabrina now and how it's like, wow, couldn't be more clear. But her and Adrian end up being partnered for a project. It's like, perfect! Now you can just break it all you want. And so they do, well, she's invited over. So Sabrina's invited over. They start doing their project, and this is where obviously Marinette comes in because of course she does. She follows them. No, under the guy, she's justifying herself. It's not stalking. It's just protecting her friends because they've been targeted by Akumas before. Girl, everyone in your class has. Okay, this isn't special. I don't like everyone in all your friends have. This isn't special, but she tries her dumb like little pizza delivery. They didn't order. I'm not paying for it. Go away. Like, what is this? And so then she just kind of transforms Ladybug and perches on the other side of like a building to look through Adrian's window. First off, why are your windows this big? Like, now that I'm really thinking about it, like, why are your windows like floor to why? Who needs this? This is just look into my room. Don't. It's so weird. But they start doing their project. And this is where Adrian really starts laying it on thick with Serena. It's to the point where she's like, kind of catching on to him. She's like, what the She's like, you know what? I have to go to the bathroom. For a completely separate reason, of course. Now's the time to get the grimoire, if anything. But Plag, it's like, wow, yeah, real smooth, Adrian. He's like, I don't know, was it too, was I too obvious? Kinda. So she ends up getting the grimoire and kind of making her way back, totally not suspicious in any way. And because she's gone for a while, I mean, she made a joke out of it because she was gone for a while. Like, oh, everything in your house looks the same, so it's not really my fault. But because this is where they wrap up their project. And because of this is where Adrian, he's like, oh, ask one more thing. It's like, he basically asked her out on a date. Both are surprised. And by both, I mean Sabrina and Marinette. Marinette immediately shouts and is like, from across the building, it's like, can't believe it at all. Sabrina's like, what is happening? And that is where it ends for now, because they wanted to just take a break from writing this fanfiction and focus more on their other one, which is a Wings Club fanfiction. So if you're interested in any other works by this person, you could check that out. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye!